Akanksha Upadhyay. Let's begin with the main stories. Petrol pumps in the eastern region found to be deceiving customers for years. Dealers found charging exorbitant prices against the ones set by Nepal Oil Corporation. General public bear the brunt of traffic blockade in the pretext of security. Construction of large infrastructures posing security risks to country's important government offices goes overlooked. Moscow asks Britain to cut just over 50 more of its diplomatic and technical staff in Russia as a standoff deepens over the poisoning of a Russian former spy and his daughter. And Kathmandu Goldens light up the opening day of Thangari Premier League with a 7 wickets victory over Team Chauraha. Let's begin with some national political updates. Prime Minister KP Sharma Oli is embarking on a 3-day state visit to India on 6th of April. In this context, we caught up with former Minister for Foreign Affairs and former Ambassador to India, Pesh Bahadur Thapa, regarding Prime Minister Oli's forthcoming agenda for the India visit.
यहाँ भित्र जुन कायम भएका हाम्रो चाहिँ राष्ट्रिय लक्ष्यहरू छन्, सुशासनदेखि लिएर आर्थिक समृद्धि छ, राष्ट्रिय त्यसको वरिपरि चाहिँ राष्ट्रियताको चाहिँ एउटा ठुलो स्वर छ। त्यसैले यो यसलाई चाहिँ नि एक प्रकारले हेरियो भने अस्थिर राजनैतिक अवस्थाले विगतमा भएको कुराहरू गर्दाखेरि आश्वासन हुने, परिपूर्ति नहुने, कार्यान्वयन नहुने यी विलक्षणहरू देखिएका छन्। त्यसलाई पार गरेर चाहिँ नि अब जनता, नेपाली जनताले चाहिँ भनेको कुरा सुनेर होइन, गरेको कुरा देखाएर पत्याउने बेला आएको छ।
Thapa suggested that it should be in the best of interest of the country if the Prime Minister did not accept offers without due consideration.
राखेर प्रगतिको बाटोमा सबैलाई धकेल्नको लागि, कार्यान्वयन मुखी बनाउनको लागि चाहिँ अब जुन कूटनीतिक अभ्यास को अपेक्षा गरिएको छ त्यो होला, किनकि हाम्रो कूटनीति पनि त्यति दरिलो नभएको कारणले गर्दाखेरि पनि अरू जसले जे दिए पनि माग्ने, जसले जे दिए पनि लिने, अनि भए नभएको कुरोमा चाहिँ राम्रोसँग चाहिँ निगरानी नराख्ने। यो समस्या पार गर्नको लागि अहिले जुन अब भ्रमण र संवादबाट सुरुवात हुन्छ, तर त्यसको चाहिँ गन्तव्य स्थान त राष्ट्र नै हो।
Now, whenever there is a motorcade of a high-profile politician, the general public are mostly compelled to bear the brunt of traffic blockade in the pretext of security. However, it turns out that virtually no mechanism exists to contain the construction of large infrastructures which could potentially cause safety risks to the country's security headquarters and main administrative centers, among others. People have to pass through tight security checks while entering the country's central administrative hub, Singadarbar. The area of Singadarbar has been surrounded by concrete walls for the sake of security. However, a 7-story private building constructed right beside the administrative center is evident. The building is just 200 meters away from the Office of National Investigation Department that carries out information collection, analysis and archiving information related to security of the entire nation. However, it has been found that the building's construction permit was granted by Kathmandu Metropolis. Likewise, 7 other multi-story buildings nearby Singadarbar have been posing security threat to the administrative hub, including Sundara CTC building, Civil Mall and so on. The buildings that even comprise helipads are close to Central Jail and Nepal Army headquarters. Similarly, an 11-story building is being constructed right beside the headquarters of Nepal Police. Concerned authorities, however, have not set up any alert mechanism despite haphazard construction of privately owned structures close to government offices and institutions having high security sensitivity. According to Kathmandu Metropolis, it has not been able to grant construction permit to such buildings due to lack of any legal provision regarding construction criteria at security-sensitive places. Lack of adequate legal provision in this respect, along with the government's apathy, has apparently been mocking the entire security mechanism. Petrol pumps in the country's eastern region have been found deceiving customers for the past 10 years. Dealers in the region have been charging exorbitant prices for petroleum products than what's determined by Nepal Oil Corporation. The irregularity amounts to monthly 10.5 million rupees, which has been taking place despite the continuous presence of the corporation's staff and police. The corporation has set the price of petrol at 101.5 rupees per litre and diesel at 81.5 rupees along the 15-kilometre area around its eastern regional office. Petrol pumps in the region, however, have been charging additional 80 paisa per litre to consumers. Petroleum traders openly acknowledged the irregularity themselves, citing the additional charge is to cover the cost of transporting the fuel from storage to petrol pumps. This implies that the staff at Nepal Oil Corporation have failed to implement the petroleum price determined by the corporation itself. The corporation staff also blatantly refrained from responding while they were questioned on lack of implementation of prices fixed. This has raised suspects over possible nexus between the traders and the corporation staff. The charges being illegally imposed on customers for past 7 years amounts to more than 1 billion rupees, which is quite a big amount considering the revenue evasion. It is, however, yet to be seen whether the officials providing cover to the illegal act of petroleum traders will be subject to legal action. It's now time for our segment Public Pulse, where you text us with your opinion.
Public Pulse.
Today's question: what's your take on the rampant fraud during sales of petroleum products? Your options are A. Nexus between corporation staff and traders, B. Unaware consumers. The voting for the question is on. You can type NEWS, select your option A, B or C and send it to 8080 to share your opinions with us. Now, the government has initiated groundwork at the policy level itself in a bid to break the syndicate system that is rampant in public transportation. The new scheme is expected to set a healthy competition in the transport sector by doing away with the practice of transport entrepreneurs imposing single-handed rules to the growing plight of the public. Going by a recent incident, a couple of public buses owned by Mayur Transportation was vandalized by assailants affiliated with the existing public transport business. The attack was a sheer anger vented at the transportation company that independently tried to operate public vehicles without being affiliated with a committee of the current transport business. Still, private vehicle owners are forced to satisfy any such committee in order to operate public transportation in any route across the country. The Department of Transportation has so far been granting route permits to vehicle owners only after recommendation of transport committees. Owing to the monopoly, vehicle owners are currently forced to pay 500,000 to 1.5 million rupees to such committees to get route permit. But now the government is going to introduce mandatory provision that would allow operation of public vehicles only under company model. This would do away with the existing high-handedness of public transport committees and provide respite to the independent vehicle operators and the public at large. Chairman and Vice Chairman of 460 rural municipalities are in the capital for a 3-day conference. We had asked a few of them why has the local government so far not been effective. In our Public Voice segment, let's take a look at what they had to say.
Public Voice.
स्थानीय सरकार पनि भर्खर नयाँ स्थापना भएको कारणले गर्दाखेरि त्यसलाई अलिकति जुनै पनि विधि विधान बनाएर लिएर जानलाई समय लाग्ने भएर त्यो नदेखिएको मात्र
माथिदेखिको एउटा संरचनाले गर्दाखेरि अलिकति प्रभावकारी हुन सकेका छैन। यसलाई व्यवस्थित गर्नको लागि केन्द्रैदेखि लाग्नुपर्छ।
कानुनहरू बनिसकेका छैनन् अनि कर्मचारीहरूको अभाव छ। पहिलो पटक हुनाले हामी अस्तव्यस्त छौं। सबै कुराहरू हामीलाई जानकारी भइसकेको छैन।
जति हुनु पर्थ्यो त्यो नहुनुमा चाहिँ मुख्य कर्मचारीको व्यवधान नै समस्याको रूपमा खडा भएको छ। अहिले
20 वर्षसम्म जरा खाएर बसेका कर्मचारी जुन प्रशासकीय अर्थिक सहरहरू अथवा त्यहाँका कर्मचारीहरू आफ्नै पुरानो उहाँहरूको सोच चाहिँ यथावतै छ। त्यसकारणले हामी यो स्थानीय सरकार सञ्चालनमा हामीलाई अलि समस्या भएको हो।
ऐन कानुन बनिसकेको छैन। त्यसपछि आवश्यक अनुसार चाहिँ कर्मचारीहरू छैनन्। त्यो भएको हिसाबले प्रभावकारी बन्न सकेको छैन।
पहिलो त यो नयाँ संरचना भएको कारणले सबै कुरा थाहा नभएको कारणले चाहिँ स्थानीय सरकार प्रभावकारी हुन नसकेको।
अरू हाम्रो सबै ठिक छ तर कर्मचारीको अलिकति अभावले गर्दाखेरि अप्ठ्यारो भइरहेछ।
केन्द्रले स्थानीय सरकारमा एउटा सरकारमा भइसकेपछि पनि त्यहाँ भएका कर्मचारीहरूलाई स्थानीयतामा पठाउन सक्नु भएको छैन।
माथिको ऐन कानुनहरू क्रमशः बन्दै तल पनि आएर चाहिँ व्यवस्थापन गर्नुपर्ने यी ऐन कानुनहरू नबनेको कारणले पनि अलिक प्रभावकारी हुन नसकेको कुरा मैले बुझेको छु।
स्थानीय सरकारमा चाहिँ कुनै पनि कर्मचारीहरू जान नमानेको अवस्थाले गर्दा पनि त्यहाँको चाहिँ अलिकति प्रभावकारी हुन नसकेको अवस्था चाहिँ त्यो हो।
अहिलेसम्म त कर्मचारी छैन, हाम्रो गाउँपालिकामा सचिवै एउटा पनि छैन, अधिकृत पनि गएको छैन, कसरी हुन्छ?
It's now time for the international update. Moscow has told Britain it must cut just over 50 more of its diplomatic and technical staff in Russia as a standoff deepens over the poisoning of a Russian former spy and his daughter in England, the Russian Foreign Ministry said on Saturday. Moscow also demanded an official explanation for the search of a Russian passenger plane in London, saying it reserved the right to act similarly against British airlines in Russia. Britain said the search was routine. Russia advised its citizens to think carefully before traveling to Britain, warning they could fall victim to official harassment. More than 100 Russian diplomats have been expelled by Western countries, including 23 from Britain, to punish the Kremlin over the March 4 attack on Sergei Skripal and his daughter Yulia in historic English city of Salisbury. London says Moscow was responsible for the first known use of a military-grade nerve agent on European soil since World War II. Russia denies responsibility for the attack. It has cast the allegations as a Western plot to sabotage East-West relations and isolate Moscow. Russia had already retaliated any kind by ejecting 23 British diplomats. On Friday, the Foreign Ministry summoned British Ambassador Laurie Bristow and told him London had 1 month to further cut its diplomatic contingent in Russia to the same size as the Russian mission in Britain. It also expelled 59 diplomats from 23 other countries for backing Britain. A spokeswoman for Britain's Foreign Office called the Russia move regrettable and said it was considering the implications of the measures. Now, the UN Security Council has blacklisted 27 ships, 21 shipping companies and 1 individual for aiding North Korea in its effort to evade sanctions. The measures were proposed by the US last month as a part of crackdown on smuggling of North Korean commodities such as oil and soil and coal. Sanctioned oil tankers and cargo vessels are banned from ports worldwide and businesses face an asset freeze. The list includes 16 companies based in North Korea, 5 registered in Hong Kong, 2 on the Chinese mainland, 2 in Taiwan and 1 in Panama and 1 in Singapore. It is the UN's largest ever package of designated penalties against Pyongyang. North Korea is already under a range of international and US sanctions over its nuclear program and missile tests. The US ambassador to UN, Nikki Haley, said the largest measures were a clear sign that the international community was united in its efforts to increase pressure on North Korean regime. The reclusive nation has been subjected to numerous rounds of international sanctions since 2006, which has cut off most of its exports and capped its exports of oil. Kathmandu Goldens lit up the opening day of the Dhankari Premier League with a crushing 7 wickets victory over Chauraha Dhankari in the inaugural match of the tournament. In the match played at the ground of the Federal Police Unit Office, Chauraha scored 145 runs in the stipulated 20 overs, losing 6 wickets. Sunil Dhamala contributed 68 runs for Chauraha. Sahabab Alam registered a hat-trick to put brakes on Chauraha inning. In response, Kathmandu Goldens reached the target in 18.4 overs, losing only 3 wickets. Amit Shrestha guided Kathmandu Goldens to a commanding win with an unbeaten 81 runs. Now, Manchester City is now on the verge of lifting this season's English Premier League title with just a win away to lift the coveted trophy. City thumped Everton 3-1 in a match played last night to inch closer to the EPL title. In the match played at Goodison Park, City dominated the proceedings right from the start, getting their first goal in the 4th minute of the match. Leroy Sané utilized a cross from David Silva to score the opening goal. Gabriel Jesus scored again to double City's lead in the 12th minute. Raheem Sterling added one more goal in the 37th minute to make the score 3-0. Everton did manage to reduce the deficit in the second half as City won the match 3-1. With the win, Manchester City has opened a 16-point gap with second-placed Manchester United, garnering 84 points from 31 matches. In another match played last night, Manchester United blanked Swansea 2-0 with goals from Romelu Lukaku and Alexis Sanchez. Likewise, Liverpool, Leicester City, West Ham, Burnley and Newcastle also registered victories in their respective matches played last night. Those were the latest headlines. Our next English bulletin will air at 11 a.m. Stay with us for more news and entertainment on KTV HD. Have a good day.